Rotterdam. I was fortunate enough as part of the Game Changer network with EA to get hands-on with the game at Gamescom last week. I have over 100 gigabytes of footage captured and a long list of things to talk about over the next few days, so in this video I thought we'd start with the map itself. I'm going to have some gameplay running showing off some of the new things that we could probably expect to see in the beta build of the game. The Gamescom version of the game isn't a direct copy of the beta, but I think it's safe to assume most of this stuff will be playable from the 4th. Firstly, as you saw in the intro, the syringe revive gadget is no longer in Battlefield 5. Instead, every medic can revive you when you're downed, so they have absolutely no excuse anymore. You can also self-heal now too, pretty handy feature actually. You can only obtain a self-heal pouch by visiting one of the many resupply stations around the map. Does it reduce the need to find a medic? Yeah, of course it does. But because you don't spawn in with a med pouch and will more than likely need more than one pouch per life, the medics still have their place on the battlefield. It's mainly only there to please those lone wolf players who tend not to work in a squad. Mental teammate just smashing through a window and then performing one of the smoothest combat rolls I've seen in the game. Thought that was kinda cool. Then we have a new squad reinforcement. It's a resupply canister. Call it in on your position and get health and ammo wherever you are. Yes, it does kill enemies, and no, when I tested at least, it didn't kill me, it just sort of pushed me out of the way. Bleeding out has been changed for the better in my opinion. You now have the option to bleed out rather than be stuck waiting for a medic that isn't going to revive you. The bleed out is still quite slow and a lot slower than skip revive in Battlefield 1, so I don't think it will be spammed quite as much. As I run down the side of the map by the D and B flags by the White House, let me just tell you what weapons were available for us to use. For the assault class we could use the STG-44, still a complete monster, not overpowered, just really effective when used correctly, i.e. tap fire this guy. The M1A1 carbine, or carbine, however you want to say it, this one again pretty effective when used correctly. I didn't use it too much, but it was pretty good fun. Turner's SMLE is up next. It's a semi-auto rifle, caused some serious damage with this one, and then finally the Gewehr 43 has moved to this class from the medic class. I'll explain that decision now. In the medic class we have the MP40, the EMP, the Sten, which is just so good, really just use the Sten, it's amazing, and then the Suomi as well. All very close quarters weapons, as the medic class is now intended to play in that up close and personal environment. You're supposed to be on the front lines reviving and healing teammates, not miles back sniping them with rifles. It makes sense I think, and I don't think there are plans to change the class back. The support class is honestly the most badass. It has the most badass weapons of the lot. The SIG KE7, really heavy hitting weapon, massive damage output. The FG42 again, a lot of damage potential and a lot of fun to use, but not as much fun as the M30 drilling. This shotgun is my #1 favorite. It's just so much fun, just disgustingly powerful. The alternate fire mode actually arms a third rifle shot, so you can turn this thing into a sniper. I was landing headshots across the map. Like I said, it's absolutely disgusting. The Scout had the Lee Enfield Mark IV, another really fun weapon to use. I went on a few nice streaks with this guy while playing, and I know a few others did too. The Kar 98 is back too, alongside the ZH-29. The fast-firing Ruby pistol as well as the Walter from the Alpha are available to all classes. The map has 5 capture points and 2 base spawns for both teams. Initially I saw a lot of people complain about that leaked footage, that it looked too easy to just travel from one spawn to the other, but I assure you that actually can't be done. C flag is where a lot of the action clashes, but the space itself is quite restricted, so not too much of the map's fighting takes place there. A was pretty popular, and the street leading up from A to the White House at B also saw a lot of action. A lot of fortification opportunities here as well. We have the train line going through the whole center portion of the map, which is also a great spot for some combat. I loved weaving in and out of the train carriages and picking off snipers who were camping up there with my SMG. The destruction on the map was a little underwhelming, to be honest. I thought we'd be able to do a lot more. Sure, buildings could be destroyed for the most part, but I just didn't quite think it was as destructible as Narvik. Fortifications was awesome, as I mentioned though, and that's a recurring theme across the whole map. Things seem to be really nailed down for this. You could even rebuild bridges as the support class. You'd have to build it in stages, and then that would create a whole new route to go to objectives. You could block off alleys by constructing barriers. I just think fortifications really became a feature on this map. It's not just that gimmick that was on Narvik. I can really see the usefulness of it now. Customization was live in this build as well, and I'm guessing it'll be live in the beta. Now, if I'm honest, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the level of customization in the game. Just the number of things you can switch and swap out for others. Even in terms of scopes, you can have the iron sights, the medium scope, reflex, different lenses, and then alter the skin on each attachment as well. There were 7 weapon skins to choose from in this build and could be crossed with each other to create some pretty awesome looking weapons. My personal favourite was the Urban Tactical, or even the Night Ops actually. Both looked pretty badass. Now the bad news. What we change in terms of weapon customization is just that. It's cosmetic only. Adding attachments just like different stocks or a different muzzle doesn't alter the weapon statistics in any way, just how it looks. Now on one hand, some may like this because it means every single STG-44 will be the same. You know that guy's STG fires and handles the same as yours, despite having different attachments. It's also great for EA because they can more easily sell these cosmetic only items and not have to worry about balancing them. But in terms of gameplay, it cuts out a huge portion of decision making. Oh, that muzzle looks so cool, it's got a dark camo and suits my MP40 really well, but it isn't as good as this one. Sure, it doesn't look as cool, but that'll help me handle the weapon's recoil better. Instead, what we have is, yeah, my weapon will handle the same no matter what. I can equip whatever attachment I like. I just think there's a huge missed opportunity here. I would have loved to have seen something similar to Battlefield 4 in place. I also feel like this will create quite a stir within the community. On the flip side, what I want my attachments to do, the new weapon skill attributes will do instead. I have yet to learn more about that though, but it was shown off a little bit in the company's trailer the other day. Some other important pieces of information you should really know about: dragging teammates is still not in the game. I'm guessing the devs want it to be as polished as possible before showing it off. Reviving in general is a lot faster now too, and way less stuttery. Also, that blinding white screen when you get revived is gone. You just get up now. So much better, and it keeps my retinas in place. With all of these animations, you might think it's hard to get a shot on target. While it may prove more difficult than in older games, the player model's head always stays in place, so you can land headshots no problem. I'm going to work on a separate video in relation to the in-game HUD and UI. It's an area I have special interest in, so I'd like to cover it in a lot of detail. But I will say things look a lot better now. According to the developers at DICE, a much more polished HUD will be available at launch and not in the public beta. Even in the beta though, things are a little bit more tidy and scaled down. Very nice to see. Something that I didn't even realize was in the game until Westy pointed out to me while playing was the in-game slide. That's right, slide is back and it's pretty effective. Think of it like an extended pre-patch BF1 slide. To do it, you need to double tap the crouch button. I was sliding around corners and destroying people with the shotgun. Not OP at all. There is a new suppression icon that appears above an enemy's player model that lets you know they're suppressed. I can see it coming in handy in some situations, but for the most part, I didn't even notice it while playing. The map featured some pretty cool dynamic weather. Most of the time while playing it was sunny and dry, but every now and then the weather would get pretty grim. It would start lashing rain, and this always was reflected on the environment and on your weapons. It's nothing new since we had it in Battlefield 1, but I just think it looks a lot more refined in BF5. It gets me excited to see what other weather effects will be available on Rotterdam and the other maps in-game. But anyway, I could talk about so much more, and I plan on doing it over the course of dozens of videos. I've just caught a look at the video timer and I'm approaching Westy territory with this one already, so I think I'll end things there. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to know anything in more detail, ask me down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you want to know and then answer those in the next video. Leave a like on this video though if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more videos from me. But until the next one, I'll see you lads later.